How you guys doing? My name is B Wise, and tonight I want to talk about creativity. And because I started to notice these patterns, right? And I said, well, what does creativity mean to me? Well, creativity means to me is having an original thought and executing on that original thought and creating something out of that original thought. This is what creativity means to me. And you get to see creativity in so many aspects of life. Like take these iPhones, for example, or the Androids. Now, it's hard to imagine life without this phone, but somebody actually created this phone. Somebody created all the components, they put it all together, and we got this phone that now we really don't realize how powerful it is. We just know that we have to have it. We have to have these phones because now it's a daily part of our lives. Well, I have been watching these shows on the History Channel, and the History Channel is called The World's Greatest Escapes, hosted by Morgan Freeman. You know, the guy from Shawshank Redemption, the black guy, he's the black guy from Shawshank Redemption. He's doing a show about the greatest escapes, about prison, even though he couldn't escape in Shawshank Redemption. You know, Andy escaped, he didn't escape. But anyway, I digressed a little bit. But anyway, what I noticed was these men were in maximum prisons. They had no hopes of getting out. They had a life. It was over with. Kiss the babies in the mouth. They never getting out again. So, but out of, let's say, I don't know how many guys were in these prisons. Let's say maybe 5,000 or 6,000 people. These two guys, it's always one or two guys that say, you know what? We're going to get creative. We're going to come up. Imagine finding tools inside of prison. They found tools. They made the impossible thing happen. They got creative. They got the tools. They made the plan. And the plan actually works. It's kind of crazy because it's like they didn't think it was going to work. Half the time, these guys, they don't think it's going to work. But it ended up working. But and the thing that I see is that they do all the planning until they get outside of the prison. Once they get outside of the prison, it's like they get stuck and like they didn't plan that part out too good. Like maybe they couldn't get a ride, or maybe they couldn't really measure the distance. So that was the great unknown in those scenarios. But I said, man, creativity is in every human being. And it's up to us to recognize it. It's up to us to see it. It's up to us to utilize it. Even in prison, even in the worst environment you can imagine yourself in, these guys still mustered that creativity inside of them. They didn't give up on their life. They said, man, there has to be another way to live life. So you see, what my point is, you see creativity in all forms, in the negative space, and you can see creativity in the positive space. Creativity is always among us. But if we don't recognize it, if we don't see it, then there's nothing we can do. There's nothing we can do. So think about how creative you are. Think about what are your strengths. Are your strengths aligned with your creativity? Ask yourself that. Are you creative anyway? We're all creative, but what are we doing with it, right? So I want you to imagine this scenario. Imagine that you have a Ferrari. And this Ferrari is a Spider. It's bright red, it's convertible. And you keep it in the garage most of the time, but you drive it one day a week. You pull it out, you wash it, you rev it up, boom, boom, boom. all the neighbors looking like, oh my God, he has a Ferrari, right? I'm sure they probably wouldn't say that. They just probably would look like, why is he making all that? You know how neighbors are. They be like, well, why are you making all that noise? So, but anyway, you wash it all up. It's all shining and it's gleaming. The rims are shining and you pull out the driveway and you're going 25 miles an hour. No faster, no slower. The school speed limit is 20. You're going 5 miles above the school speed limit with a Ferrari. So you're just driving slow around the whole city, and then you bring it back and you put it in the garage. A Ferrari. So what you're doing is this machine has a maximum potential. It can go up to 150 miles an hour. But you're driving just 25 an hour. Can't you see the craziness? This is the same scenario. So we must hone our creativity. We must hone our Ferrari, so to speak. We must get it up to speed. We must let the wind blow through our hair for the people that have hair. So, because it's the same scenario. We have this potential to be creative, but we don't utilize it. So, I want you to think about how can you use your creativity more? How can you raise the bar? How can you create something that mankind truly needs, truly wants? I watched a lot of a History Channel, and I also watched a show called The Foods That Made America, The Foods That Built America. And what I noticed, it was a pattern that people, innovative and creative people, they built things before there was a need for it. They say, you know what, we're going to build it and see what happens. And all the people like, that's not going to work. Just imagine when the first refrigerator was made, they had to put a block of ice in. The people was not even used to using a refrigerator. And this one guy, he designed the refrigerator, and it wasn't even a need for it yet. And so that's really creative. It's like, I'm going to just build this and they're going to utilize it. And sure enough, they utilize it. The same thing with the microwave. Now, the microwave was made, and at first people was not really wanting to use it. So you can see the pattern here that sometimes you have to build the thing before people are ready for it. And that's called taking a risk. That's called you don't know what's going to happen down the road. Uncertainty. Life is full of uncertainty. Life should be lived on the edge like that. It shouldn't be always lived in a safety zone, right? You got to take risks with this thing. You got to bruise it up. You got to see what it can do. And this is all I'm telling you. Get more creative with your life. And I'm going to end it with this quote. I read this book by the author's name of Walter Russell. And he had a saying in this book. He said that the art will outlive the artist. He said the art will outlive the artist, meaning your life's work is your art. You're crafting a masterpiece. You're crafting different chapters, different episodes, different things are happening, and your book of life is your art. And when it's all said and done, the art will outlive the artist, meaning people will gauge our art, meaning our life, on what we did with what we had at the time we were alive. So I want you to get more creative with your life, Remember, the art will outlive the artist. Thank you.